a lot of people joining us. Everybody is on time. That's fantastic.
A lot of people.
Yeah. Hi, Tara. How are you today?
Good, good. It's a beautiful day in Reno.
That's fantastic. Hi, Nelly. How are you?
Hey, Dasha.
You have a wave background. You came prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's a commitment, you know.
Yeah, it's an image of Scotland, done a couple of years ago.
So it's your painting, actually.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's a pastel. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that's something what we will be doing today. Huh, interesting. Carol is here. Guys, before we start meeting, like more people will be joining, I'm sure, popping by. We had a lot of RSVPs, and thank you for doing that. May I ask you to turn the video on? So I'll just do a quick Instagram story, and we're gonna show how good time we're having before, and everybody is missing out on that. So just
You need to shush.
yeah, it's a social media stuff. We need to do that, you know, like that's where power is.
Shush. Yeah, you're noisy girl. You need to shush.
Okay, and I think everybody is here. I'm Dasha Jamieson with Red Rock Pastel Society of Nevada. Today, we're going to have our spring member meeting. We're going to talk about shows, events, and of course, have a demo by Lana Ballot. I have little presentation to show you guys, and after that, we'll start with a demo. If you have something to say, please unmute yourselves, say your name, and you will have time to speak. That's all good, and we have little poll. You can vote on it, so we're gonna read results later. And please stay to the end because Lana has something special for you. So at the end, there is some bonus coming your way. And my presentation is closed, so just a second. I'll make sure I have it. Admitting more people, so it should be back. Okay, I have it again. So thank you for joining us today. We have our second member meeting via Zoom again today in Red Rock, and we're going to feature wave demo by Lana Ballot. I'm sure you're here to see that, not hear me talking, but it comes both ways. So very happy to see all of you. Hope you're doing great. Please answer the poll questions. It's kind of important for us to know. And I'm going to talk about Red Rock Pastel Society. So I hope you're a member of Red Rock Pastel Society or many others Pastel Society. And what does it mean? So by being member of Red Rock Pastel Society, you becoming a member of the family of IAPS guided Pastel Society. So IAPS is like on for all the pastel societies out there, and every 3 years, actually every 2 years, but we had to wait 3 years for the next event. They hosting amazing convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and during the convention there are several pastel shows, masters divisions, regular open division, and you can enter. So not every pastel artist out there can enter. You need to belong to some pastel society to enter. So if for some reason you do not belong to any pastel society yet and would like to go to IAPS, and this is a like best candy shop where all the pastel reps there, like it's amazing. Like one Terry Ludwig display, it's where it is. Like you need to go just to see Terry Ludwig display among others. Like they're all fantastic vendors out there. So it's really cool. That's why you need to belong to some Pastel society to be able to see all of that. But it's all up to you. Be grateful to be a part of family of Pastel societies, and all we're doing is to promote Pastel medium. We have several awards. Some members shared with us their accomplishments. I'm going to talk about upcoming shows and, of course, the demo. So our friends from Arizona hosting right now beautiful show in a Pippin Museum in Prescott, Arizona. Is anybody here from Arizona right now? But I know we have people in Arizona. Nori, membership chair for Arizona Pastel Society, so she's also a Red Rock member. Sharon Frey, president, is a Red Rock member. Anyway, it's a beautiful show. It's in-person show this year. So many shows went online for the past 2 years and now starting to be in person. This is their first in-person show since 2020, and it's great show. And we're happy to say what there are several members of Red Rock who have been there and who also got awards. Like, do you know this guy who happened to have Best in Show award? Yes, it's Tony Allen. So he won Best in Show award. And some of you who joined his Zoom workshop, I think it was last workshop in December, what we have with Tony. You may have your copy of this old-fashioned track. So go, Tony, congratulations, and with this amazing award. Congratulations also to Sergei Pieteля. He's joining us from Germany right now. He's starting his plein air event there. So his work won second award in this show in Arizona. Sergey, are you here? Seryoja? No, Sergey Samber here. He's hosting right now in-person exhibition and workshop in Germany, in Hamburg, Germany. So he's attending our meeting while he's here. Time difference helps to be in a couple of places at once. So congratulations to him. And these images are courtesy of Christine Dabrowski, also our member, and she's member of Arizona. She lives in Clarkdale, Arizona, and paints desert like no one. So she took these images for us to celebrate our members and their few other Red Rock members, Angie, Mars, and others who have their work in this show. I believe Christine herself also got an award in this show, Merit Award. So if you happen to be in Arizona, or I will include the link also in our email, show is available for view online. Beautiful show to check it out. Nicely done. And this is time of year when we are promoting our shows in Red Rock. So we have 2 coming up this spring. I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes. But what we started in 2020 is to do interviews with artists from all over the world. So we started doing it on Instagram and kind of expanded to the Zoom and our other platforms. Just depends whatever works for the artist. So this year we had already 3 interviews, and more are coming your way. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can find a recording of a previous member meeting featuring demo by Sergei Pieteля. We have met with Masafumi Saito, all the way from Japan. He invited us to his studio. I had a blast meeting with Lorenzo Chavez. This was fantastic meeting. And yesterday we did an Instagram interview with Jacob Egger. He's restarting his Patreon and have some exciting events. He took a 1.5 year break from pastel painting. So if for some reason you have to restart your artist journey, no, it's possible. So that's kind of great perspective from him. And all the interviews after they aired available on our YouTube channel. So I'm gonna put link to our YouTube channel in the email and in the chat too, so you guys can watch them in your convenience. We talked about being a member of Red Rock, so if you are a member, I don't see poll results yet. You know how great it is, and we're trying to improve our membership, but all these benefits coming with being member of Red Rock, and if you haven't joined yet, you always can join. There is like plenty of buttons on the website to click, and make sure you send email to contact@Red Rock, so we know what you joined or renewed. And if you don't see somehow your membership card, we almost cut up with all the memberships. It's there, so you get all the amazing opportunities, as well as entering IAPS show. So if you're going to IAPS convention, or if you're going to enter IAPS show, you can select Red Rock member as your home Pastel society and enter the show. So we're always cheering for our members, and this membership gives you opportunity to join in on all the events what IAPS is hosting. We are launching Red Rock Platinum membership, more to come this year, and there is some new lessons coming to our on-demand lesson library. Stay tight, and you can already find some information on the website about it, but that's something we are waiting to launch soon, so please stay tuned. We're going to talk about it more in our time, but that's something more coming your way. And you still with me? I see you smiling. Okay, so I still have everyone. Remember, wave demo is coming, so you have a few more slides. Hang tight. I have juried Pastel World exhibition. So there is several levels of Pastel exhibitions. There is Master Division and there is Open Division. So if you achieved master level with IAPS, you probably know what you done it, and you know what to enter. If you haven't, Open Divisions, it's where you go. And you select Red Rock as your home Pastel society, or for that matter, any society, what you feel like your home society if you belong to one, and you enter. So you don't need to join the IAPS. By joining society what belongs to IAPS, you're eligible to enter this show. IAPS alternate shows. They do online shows and they do in-person show. And this is one of the biggest shows during the convention. They expect about 600 to 700 people during the convention, and they all pastel artists. So you will feel like you're at a big family reunion. And you can have that great exposure by entering that show. So this is in-person one, so please take in account what in-person show, you will need to frame your painting, you will need to get it somehow to the IAPS, and pastel, like as you know, is amazing on the screen, but it's much better in person. It's that different feel when you're viewing your artwork in person. Deadline for entering IAPS show, please mark your calendars, is April 1st, and it's not April's full day, so you cannot say, oh, I missed it. So April 1st, and something else what I noticed when I did my entry for this show, right now, you don't need to prepare your files. Usually that takes like couple of days to prepare your file, because every show has a different demands, like how many inches and what DPI it needs to be. Now your job is just to paint your your best painting, photograph it what it looks as close to your painting as is, and after that you just photograph it in the best quality you can, crop it so there is no matte frame, your beautiful pastels laying around, and adjust the image and enter. You don't need to resize it, just put largest size possible. I think they even left that 2 megabyte rule what they had. So system right now is resizing it themselves and renaming also. So you don't have to worry about renaming the file. That's something new this year. I found it very helpful. It will make show entry process much easier. So I'm gonna see who already enters the show. So 5 people going at least to IAPS convention, and 5 people who are going haven't entered the show yet. That's interesting. So you have guys time. We still have time till midnight on April 1st. And this spring, Red Rock is hosting their own shows. So we have our traditional juried member web show open to all members. So if you join Red Rock, you can enter our juried member web show. This year, we have Isabel Lim as our judge of awards. Last year, we had Tony Lane. We have team of 3 jurors, and they will do jury discussion later for us, hopefully, talking about entering the show. Last year, we have a pleasure to have Lana Ballot as one of our jurors, and while she will be doing them, I may ask her about some advice on entering the show. And something new this year, we're doing live exhibition in Las Vegas, Nevada. So live show and open to all. So it's open show. If you don't feel like joining society yet, but still want to enter this competition, you can, and we make it this way. So local artists also can enter and try themselves in a pastel medium. But this is a themed show, and the theme is red. So that was no brainer with us being Red Rock Pastel Society, but it's also themed with a color, red. Red is the first color on a color wheel. So your interpretation of that, and Sergey Pietilia will be a judge of awards. And we have a team of jurors who will be doing selection. We're going to host it in Las Vegas in beautiful Alpha Voyage Gallery with a fantastic light. All galleries are ours, and it will be 2 weeks in June. So it's June 15 to July 1st, approximate dates. If you'll get accepted to the show, you'll get all the details on how to deliver your work, and we will help you with framed, unframed work. So reach out. I'm membership, not member, I'm a membership chair and also exhibition chair for the both exhibitions. So you know where to find me. I will help you to be successful in these shows if you have any questions. Best part, $1,000 best in show for either show. Worth a try. Always beautiful show.
You think she's gonna say that?
For all the online folks, we have 2 events with Tony. I made a typo, so we have 2 events with Tony Elaine. He said he may stop by today also, so I don't see him here yet, but he will stop by today also later. April 9th is creating mood and atmosphere. One of the most favorites workshops, full day workshop with plenty of demos and feedback. And the second workshop is on April 10th. It's a 3 hours workshop, and we still have some early bird specials for this workshop. So you can join that one. It's a 3 hour long, couple of demos, but Tony is going to take you from the sketch to frame, starting with a sketch in the sketchbook, and after that going to the framing process. So that would be very fantastic on April 10th, and we still have some room in both workshops.
Dasha,
Yes.
I just want to point out that on Show Submit, it says that your Las Vegas show closes on May 5th, not the 15th.
Oh,
So I don't know which is correct, but you should probably know that.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we need to look up at that, but you still have time.
Plenty.
Like, yeah, it still seems like far away. So May 5th and May 15th are far enough, but thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And last time I forgot, but this time I put it in the presentation. So help wanted. We are looking for volunteers, and we need Facebook volunteers. We need show volunteers in person, and also for online show. There is a lot of things what could help us have successful shows. So if you feel like you have hour a week, please hit me up. And there is also Facebook help and Instagram help what needed. I had some great response, and if you're asking me what needs to be done, I felt that kind of describes it, what we are doing here. So that's kind of a job description here. But, you know, there is a lot of things that need to be done, and there is something what will be suitable to you. If you say you have like hour a week, you can help out on something, we will find something. And with the Pastel societies, it is when, if you involved in an organization, the more value you have out of your membership, and just engaging with the community always helpful. And like, I enjoy working with our team too. So, wave time. You made it through the presentation. You can unmute yourself. And now you're gonna enjoy Wave Demo by Lana Ballot. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I will be in the chat here. And now I'm gonna spotlight Lana.
All right, hi everybody. There's some noise, but hopefully you hear me over that. Thank you for inviting me to do the demo, and I kind of tried to make it a little bit more compact. So I recorded the underpainting part, and I'm going to try to show it here, and hopefully the video works. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk about it to show you the colors. Okay, let me just move this and shorten this if it matters. And here's UART 400 grid neutral color. That's what I'm using often. If it's a larger painting, I would use 320 grid size, but here just a very simple outline of the shape, and I want to set up the colors for the base, and then on top of that I will be working with the dry pastels. But this right now is hard pastel, different colors to set up that gradient from the deeper, wider part of the wave, which will be darker and cooler, and the top is going to be letting more light through because it's a thinner wall of water at the top. So that's why my colors are kind of arranged in a gradient this way, and using different colors, but very few softer pastels, just because I wanted the colors kind of some of that very yellow green that I used. Otherwise, it's mostly hard pastels because I don't really want to feel the tooth of the paper too much right away. And this is for the foam. And here, this part, the foam is going to be lighter, but there's still shadow within the foam. So I'm not going to go with a very light color for it. I want to set up kind of 1 or 2 values darker than what it will be eventually, so that I have that range of values to play with, to build upon. Otherwise, if it's very light, it's very hard to create the volume. It will be just looking flat. And now it's in the distance. The distance is usually just a background, often, most of the times. And the colors I'm using mostly are going to be greens, kind of that local color of the water. And then on top of that, after I wash it in, I get that color. Then on top of it, I will be layering some blues, some purplish colors, something like that, modify some greens. So it's for what is going to be seen in between the reflections of the sky on the water. So that's what gives it that blue color. And the foreground is very light, but again, I don't want to just create a very light background, the color of the foam itself. I want to pick up the color that's more like what we see in between. And even that is going to be a little bit lighter eventually. So you can spend a little bit more time and kind of create more exact value pattern, more exact design, but I like working faster, and then I just make adjustments as I work with a hard pastel. So here I'm using the isopropyl alcohol, and my brush is a synthetic brush. It's about 3/4 inch, works well for kind of medium-sized work. For larger work, you might use a larger brush. But here you can see how it's washing in, and I usually try not to get too dark of a color for the darker base, because then it just starts looking kind of dead. So if I have to darken it later with hard pastels, the first layer I can do that right away there. And you can see my foam color is kind of muted, grayed down. That's okay. Still trying to get a little bit of that lighter value happening there, so that it's different from the back of that curving part of the wave. And that's all I need for that, basically. And also want to mention, when I'm doing this, of course, I cut this because I edit the video, but in between, and particularly with a lot of pigment like this, the brush picks up a lot of pigment. So you have to rinse it, and I rinse it in water, then blot it on the paper towel, and then again, dip into the alcohol and getting that more fresh color again, because otherwise it just would be one continuous color grayed down, getting darker and darker, because I just keep like snowball collecting the pigment and moving it further and further. So if the color doesn't come out exactly what I want it to be at this point, the value, again, I can adjust it. So to me, then the painting is just kind of background, but sort of a specialized background. So eventually it dried, and this is what it's looking like right now. This is what I will be starting with. So let me switch from here. If you have any questions about that process, let me know. I will be working. And by the way, I love questions. It means people are not sleeping, so go ahead and ask. And let me just switch to the camera. Oops, it's not what I wanted to. Here we are. This and the microphone too. All right. Yeah. Sometimes it looks a little bit better if I touch it a little bit. Okay, so I can show you what I was using for the underpainting here. And the colors, again, this kind of the palette that I was using. And since I showed the video, it's not really necessary to show how I wash them. And I work in gloves, so I'm just fighting with these gloves right now to put them on. They are a little fitting too well. Sometimes it's harder to do, sometimes it's not as loose as the other. Okay, while I'm doing this, I also need to set up my reference here. 1 second, and here I am. So this is just overall, just for you to kind of see in front of you the picture, but Dasha, I think, emailed you the picture, probably, maybe not, I don't remember the reference. So if not, then
I'm muted, so yes, you did, and I will find it in a second to put it on the screen. I do have it.
okay, great.
So I'm gonna put it on the screen, and
Well, if it doesn't interfere with anything, so yeah, it would be nice. So I think that now it starts being contrastier once I start getting the pigment onto it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, just get pretty much the same colors that I was using for the underpainting. Now I'm starting with those colors, setting up the base of the wave. And yes, there's the foam, kind of the pattern of the foam there. And it's tempting to kind of start maybe like outline the foam, but it's such a small work really. So if I start creating that foam right away, I feel like then I will end up trying to paint between the lines, and that's not a good look. So it starts looking cut out. So I'd rather kind of get this in first and then get the pattern of the foam on top of that. And I'm using my artistic license to get away from this kind of very yellowish color of the water. So I think my new camera makes it a little bit more yellow than it is.
hi Tony,
So-
we've been talking about you without you. Sorry for my interruption, but we have a person who is late to the class today, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's the base, and it's important to set it up in the beginning because then it will be harder. Kind of when I start adding those lighter colors, it will be harder to darken something if you already started adding kind of lighter colors. Then working in between again will get that cut out look, which I don't really like, trying to avoid usually. So now I also can get a little bit of this, but maybe a little darker. So to get that color, I probably will take this so I can actually see. I don't want it to be that dark, but I want to set up this movement here. And then maybe switch to somewhat lighter. And it's interesting how water can be different colors, different day you get to the beach and it's totally different color. It's just depends on the water, on the weather, the movement in the water. And I've seen it being really almost turquoise, which is kind of rare for where I am. And very often it's just kind of green here on the East Coast, but it's never the same really. So following that logic, I don't have to try to get that same exact color either. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a break with that. So here I have kind of this at the top, the color at the top should be a little bit toned down eventually, and it will start picking up some of that blue from the sky. And let's see, usually I don't do that right away, but let's just get a little bit of that so that we see. And
Adrian,
Mhm.
I'm just saying hi. We have Adrian joining us. Tony joined us, so I'm just saying hi. Lana, so would you mind if I'll be kind of asking you questions as we go? And guys, if you're on mute and watching, feel free to type your questions or ask questions along the way. So I'm just muting, so we'll have less background noise. So you're saying you're not trying to get exact color, and you spent a lot of time observing?
Yeah, it's you observe, or well, again, a lot of time, like it takes time to get to the beach. So it takes time and it takes money to park your car at the beach. So well, during the summertime, but in winter, of course, it's free here where I live. But yeah, I'm trying to get to the beach when I can. Definitely a few times during the winter. And it helps to just kind of observe a lot and see what's happening there as far as the color. And what I can tell, just kind of, it's not always, I don't necessarily try to repeat everything exactly as it is. For example, sometimes sunny day, the shadows, the color of the shadows within the wave is a little lighter. But if I make it that light in my painting, it's just not going to look right. It's not going to give me enough volume there. So I would actually intentionally make it a little bit darker, something like that. We just have to, one thing you observe the colors, another thing you want to make the painting work as well. So it's kind of dance between the two. But as far as, kind of painting waves at the beach, well, you can get the colors. The purpose would be really just to observe the colors. And of course, you observe the best when you try painting something. And if you try to get the detail within the water, it's very hard to do. It's really difficult to do that, just painting from life. So what I end up is just, if I need to do some kind of more elaborate painting, the waves, I just do that in the studio. But just the fact that you spend time there, maybe doing some studies, that helps later. So here I want to kind of start creating this fold. And these blues are, that is this foam kind of starting to curve a little at the top. And also I will have it later here, just a little bit later, but it's almost time to introduce that. And I work very light. The touch is very, very light. And it's good, a good habit doing it with pastels to begin with, but with something like foam, you really want to leave a lot of texture showing. And if it's very dense, then it's just not believable. It has to echo the properties of the, what you're painting, basically. So something like this to start the shadows within the foam there. And I like how it gets kind of turning. So that part will start having some light on it. And at the top, of course, but it has this lovely kind of structure here. And I'm looking usually for the waves with some character that will give me some opportunity to do something interesting. And you go to the beach and you take sometimes 2,000 pictures because you just keep taking pictures, standing there taking pictures, and then you go through that at home, and maybe like only a dozen of them actually have some nice structure that's interesting to work with. But some would have some elements maybe, and again, you cannot always expect that you're just going to end up with a perfect composition just using the design that you have. Sometimes you just have to take something from one photo and combine it with what you have in a different picture. So like the foregrounds, quite often the foreground can be improved upon. And it's because it's not like a portrait. This is very forgiving. I can really, as far as I follow the basic ideas, like a certain way the water is moving, or, the dynamics of the just rhythm of the waves, let's say. So as far as I follow that, I'm usually not running into problems if I start combining different things, different pictures together. So just a little bit here of this darker olive color. And I think it's pretty good there, ready. So now I just want also to start this, the background, because usually I cannot really start working on a detail on the top of the wave before my background is ready, because with pastels we just want the finishing marks kind of to be placed and left alone. But if I don't have the background ready, then I would be going back and forth with that, and that would disturb it. That wouldn't be good. So just a little lighter. So I'm still I wanted to get away from it a little bit, but I kind of got back into this golden color. So, well, let's see. Let's not fight it right now. So why we have a little bit of this golden color in the distance? Well, it's just the top of the wave, in the distance waves, not just one. It's thinner, it's showing more light through it. So that's what's happening. And then it's just, this might be a little too light. So let's get a little bit of this darker color at the foundation. And I don't want here the background to be too busy, overly developed. It's just a suggestion, basically. This one doesn't really have a big splash, this wave. it might have it somewhere there behind, out of the picture, but not really that much. So in a way, if I had time, I probably would spend a little bit more time modeling this, but the way it is right now, I'm just working faster. And what's happening between the waves is the water becomes kind of more flat. It's that trough area, and that's where it's going to be more parallel to the sky. So that's going to pick up more of that sky color. And usually that is the lightest part there. But the darker green, let me get a little bit darker here. And here I'm connecting a little bit that darker green to that lighter blue, let's say, with this purplish blue. So in the distance, it really should be kind of melting into some kind of like grayish blue color, because this is right now chromatic, pretty chromatic color. So if I do this, I usually don't plan to leave it that way. I plan to layer more of that lighter color over it in the flatter parts. So something like this. So it's the purpose of this, not really to get all those separate waves for me doing all this. It's kind of to establish that rhythm up and down, kind of, and where it's down, it's going to be lighter blue. Where it's going up, the blue is going to be darker. It's purple, blue, and something like this even. And I would need to spend a little more time, of course, to do it more naturally looking. But that's the idea, kind of doing this way.
Lana, I have a question from Tim. Are you using unison pastels?
Yeah, I have some unisons, but right now I guess it's a lot of Terry Ludwig's in this particular demo, I guess, because what I'm, having in my box right now in front of me. I have a set of unisons that I really love. I can show you a little bit. Great colors. What was it? The blue-green unison colors. They're really nice for the seascapes. Nice blues for the seascapes. Kind of greenish colors. So I usually kind of combine different colors, different brands. I don't just stick with one. They all have different texture, even if it's the same color. So it's really helping to create different effects. So at this point, maybe let's pick up a little bit of this kind of color. I still feel like this is a little too bright. that blue is a little too bright, kind of particularly here. And then I can use my brush and just very lightly, not dragging it too far into the darker colors, but if I want to kind of knock this off the paper a little, I can help that not to stand out if I want to correct it a little bit, or just use a little bit more different color. So all right, let's get a little bit more of this in the distance. And I have to mention, of course, also that in the distance, the marks are going to get smaller so that we get that feeling of the receding waves, receding in size, so that okay, for now, I'm just going to leave that area and let's get back to the wave. And here, I'll start with this. And I usually don't jump to the lightest light right away. So right now I'm using kind of light blue color. And maybe here I can use even a little bit warmer color. But I'll start with this, and then if I want to warm it up, I'll do that a little later. So here it's kind of that interesting detail, the foam. And when I do the wave, it's, yes, some detail is really nice to actually spend some time and bring it into the work, but some detail will just get a little bit too much. So it's just kind of trying to get just what makes sense, what makes it more interesting, but doesn't overload it kind of with some tricky twists and something like this. So, but something that kind of gives a nice accents in the areas. That's definitely a good idea to pick that up. So get a little bit of that foam right here. But keeping my darker areas as well, so I don't lose that volume really. And also with this color right now, I'm just going to continue a little bit further. And what I like to do, even if the wave itself sometimes is kind of like, okay, it goes almost straight here and then almost straight here. I try to push it more up and down because it's more interesting. Otherwise, it just will be kind of boring. So let's see these curves here. I can create a little bit of this. Almost got over the part I wanted to leave. And there, while I'm working, here's that color I was using, I believe, for this here. Or is it a little darker even? I think it's even a little darker purple. And that's good. I can kind of get that. A little more of that accent. And some of that foam maybe can use a little bit of kind of shadow color on those folds. So I want to bring that in. So it's not going to repeat that same pattern exactly, but just not having enough room for that. So now I can kind of start thinking about bringing some of these lines, the foam, into the shadow of the wave. And right now I'm working with a hard pastel here because I'm kind of trying to keep it more subtle. It's also having that effect that it's kind of pushing the pigment into it and it blending with it quite a bit. I don't want that exactly to happen too much. I just want to kind of suggest lightly that there's a layer of foam, let's say, right here. And because it's like this nice darker color, it gives me, while it's kind of mixing with the darker color underneath, it works. It works for me there. But then I will also try to get some kind of lighter blues on top of that. And here, let's say I'll start connecting a little bit with this part, but leaving some of that green showing, even though in the picture, in the reference, it's darker, but I don't really want it to be that dark. So here there isn't that much of the foam and it is pretty dark. When the wave is lighter than what I have there, then the color of the foam also should be getting lighter because it's also illuminated from the behind if the light is passing through the wave. So, and again, the pattern is a very abstract thing. You kind of want to get what works for your design, not so much that you need to repeat everything there. So I'm going to try taking the lighter blue there later. But right now it almost blends in with that, with everything there. So what I was saying initially, if I did that pattern right away, right now to get the darker color, I would be just kind of dancing around these areas, which sometimes I do want to make it darker, but it starts, this foam starts kind of jumping out more. So that's why it's definitely better to take time with that initial stage and get the darker colors where you want them to be. And the darker colors, again, needed so that we have that depth, so we have the volume basically suggested that it's not a kind of very thin layer of water. So I'm not going to do what I'm saying not to do here, but let's just get a little bit of this on top. And eventually I'll get the foam color over that. And now this kind of starts telling me where things are, how it's going to be. I'm kind of staying away from the bright highlights right now, but I can start actually also getting this lighter area in front of the wave, and that will give me a better structure, that lights and darks structure that eventually I want to have it. So there is some blue from the sky that is reflected in between the foam, these patches of foam. And yes, I already have this color pretty much, but I'm not going to just leave the underpainting color and nothing else. So I'm still applying a little bit of the pigment before I start with the foam colors here as well. And little doggy. Okay, so let me get maybe something like this. So this is an interesting point, actually, when we get into the area from the shadow, and now it's sunlit here. I need to connect basically the parts of the foam, if it's kind of stretched pieces of foam, and going into that fold, kind of shadow fold. So here, once it's out of the shadow, I can start with this lighter color, and I need to show it that now it's actually catching light. And if I just drop that, it will be confusing for people. Like if it's a foam here, but it's not picked up here with the light color, they might not even realize it by looking at it, but it's just, you know, it will look strange, weird. So kind of have to be careful here to connect the dots, basically. And here also I'm emphasizing this kind of the flat surface. Here my marks went this way, kind of describing the curving surface of the wave. But here now I'm actually showing this flatness of the foreground with the foam kind of, and the foam, of course, there's certain perspective, rules of perspective, that it's going to look kind of stretched like this so that it looks flat. We need to pay attention to that. And again, doing the foam, I don't want to just fill the surface with the pigment. I want to have enough of that kind of lighter, well, actually not lighter, enough of the somewhat darker pigment showing through. And it's also, even if sometimes we don't have it in the design, but it's also a good opportunity to create some movement within here. So how I create this pattern is going to give me a chance to lead the viewer. So maybe I'll switch to this now and just do it with a wider.
Hey, Lana, Adrian is saying it's beautiful already. I was just going to say it like it's already came to life.
Thank you.
Maybe do a little bit Q&A right now. So Mary is asking, what paper are you using?
Yeah, that's juried. It's juried 400 paper. So it's neutral color. And for this size, and I think this the size of this like 10 by 18. I think I cut 2 inches of that standard piece of paper that you get when you order that pack. So it's a good paper for the seascapes. It's a really nice paper to use.
And what you mentioned for this size, it doesn't need mounting, but if you work larger, do you mount your paper, or how you go about it?
You know, it's a good idea to have it mounted. I don't really have that press on my own, so I have to rely on if the manufacturer does a good job mounting it. And I actually in the past bought boards with mounted paper few times, more than once, and I wasn't happy. It just whatever they use, the adhesive or the way they mount, it just creates some kind of bumpiness. And I work a lot on the flat side of the stick, and when you do that, it becomes like, you know, it hits that higher area, then there's the kind of peaks and valleys, so there's a lot of those valleys and it looks terrible. So I wasn't happy with that, and I kind of, you know, keep working pretty much on not mounted paper, or sometimes I prepare you know, with the ground. I prepare the paper with the ground, so that works. But it's definitely making it easier to frame when you have it on a harder surface. Absolutely. But it also can contribute to that feeling of preciousness of the support, and you're afraid to touch it because you're afraid to ruin it because it's more expensive. So it's can be different ways can be
Yeah,
looked at.
definitely. Kim is asking a question. What board are you using to tape your paper to? What are you using for support?
Right now, the paper is right to the masonite. It's here. I don't take it off. I shoot my videos here at this spot, and it works out well. I wish it was kind of smooth. So I have, you know, the other easel. It's I don't remember what it's called, but it's smooth and you can just wipe it. Like all this stuff that you end up having on the board, you can just wipe it, and even with a dry paper towel, and it works fine. But with this, it just kind of gets into it, but it's shiny. And because it's so shiny, when you know, shoot the video, it messes the lights. So I'm using this and trying to make this work, but it seems to work okay.
Oh, it
So-
works fantastic. I have more questions. So you
Sure.
started with time lapse of underpainting, guys, and it will be in the recording. But for underpainting, what colors did you use? And I'm asking in regards, like, was it local, complementary, or like how do? What
Yeah,
did you use?
for the seascape, I'm using mostly local colors. This is pretty much that gradient in the wave, and which you see, it's pretty much what it was. Like what I have right now, it's similar colors. And with the water, like I would use different colors in other, maybe like in landscape somewhere, would experiment with different underpaintings. But with the seascape, I kind of stick to the local color because the way it works, I'm trying to find this different color. The way it works, it's I don't want to have, let's say, start with purple and then spend time to kind of trying to establish that green on top. And then by that time, I have too much pigment accumulated in there. So with this seascape, I'd rather have that color that I want peeking through, like here, that nice greenish color peeking through. I like that. So if I need to add a little bit more of that cooler color here, I'll use this.
And then keep interrupting you, but let me ask you about during process. We did 2 interviews, and I think I asked you everything in a word, but you juried and judged many shows. So Is there any advice you can give to someone who is thinking about entering pastel exhibition or not entering, like from that perspective? Can you tell us something?
Yeah, well, it's kind of on the spot right now, but yeah, it's
Of course, it's
you know,
here all day.
one thing I would say, definitely start doing it if you haven't done it, but don't go to like some major shows if you haven't done it yet and you're not feeling confident enough. Start like, you know, like with your own society, because I remember, you know, I didn't follow this advice. I didn't know, but I started with Pastel PSA show when my first show I entered. So. But you know, it's as long as you just I entered, and of course I wasn't accepted because I just wasn't at the level. But again, you can enter, but it's just to save a little bit of you know, kind of frustration. But if you enter with the idea, okay, let me see where I stand, that's fine. And you know, there are people who just enter in the show and they haven't even painted much, but they're fine. They will get in, and who knows, maybe sometimes even getting the awards. So again, it's kind of subjective how people judge, and though we try to be objective, but there's always certain element. So don't get frustrated. And another thing I wanted to mention, like sometimes, you know, the worst thing to do is to try to paint for the show. Just paint and then look at your work and what you think you like better, what looks better, enter that. Because if you try to kind of look at, okay, the judge is this, let's take a look at her work or his work and see what they like, and it's just going not going to work out well. Maybe sometimes it does, but actually I don't know. You know, sometimes it just backfires. I was entering a show locally years ago, and I know the person was painting a lot of, is painting a lot of beach scenes, you know, dunes, and my subject. And I was very concerned because he will be judging it, you know, because he's doing it. Like he spent a lot of time painting it. So it's harder to impress sometimes when it's like that. And also, on that subject, for example, it's sometimes we do something quickly, and because we haven't spent enough time doing it, we don't think about the piece being, you know, worthy of submitting anywhere. And sometimes actually that's the work that's more fresh.
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
a raw feeling, right?
Right. And that might be what actually will get you into the show, not something that you are laboring over and trying to, you know, get every leaf on it or anything. And it just will start looking tired. And it's not to say that, you know, don't paint very realistically. It's not that. But when we just kind of try to, you know, try too hard to make it there.
It makes it precious. Hey, and about putting people on a spot, I'm not gonna put on a spot a person who is judging our show live in Las Vegas this spring. So I will leave Serge alone. So just look at his work and don't try to copy it, okay? But I will put on a spot another person who judged our previous show. It's Tony Allain. So Tony, do you have advice for people who are meeting deadlines right now and thinking about entering maybe their first pastel show ever or entering a big show, what advice would you give to them?
Well, thank you for putting me on the spot.
Always welcome, I'm here,
Well, listen, I've been listening to what Lana has just been saying about painting for possible potential exhibitions and shows that you're going to put on. I know what it's like. It's very scary to know who's going to be judging the work. I think what you should try and do is, I think it's very important that all artists, no matter whether you are a top professional like Lana there, or whether you're a Sunday painter like me, I'm a Sunday and Monday painter. I think what you should do is you've got to paint for yourself. First of all, you have to enjoy what you are painting, the subject matter that you are painting. I have just finished judging an exhibition online yesterday. And the brief, of course, these online shows can be difficult because you get a huge amount of entries and then you get a limited amount of acceptance because of the fact that the size of the show. And so obviously somebody's not going to be in there, somebody's going to miss out. So I think it's important to paint for you. Don't try and paint for a judge. I think that's the worst thing that you can do, is to try and paint and please a judge, because you will be surprised that when a judge or a juror looks at all the entries, they may not even consider looking and enjoying the genre in the way they paint. I mean, I'm a landscape painter. I've just seen some beautiful portraits, some wonderful animal studies, and I have to start thinking about the technical ability, the artistic ability. Doesn't matter what the subject matter is. It's all to do with how does the artist communicate to the general public? How do they communicate to themselves? Because again, that's a very important thing. I think an artist needs to have their surroundings, or the world that they live in, their surroundings, has to reveal itself to them in the process of them painting, so that they can then reveal it onto others. So please don't think about, Lana just said something about, she was a little bit nervous about the fact that one of the judges was possibly a seascape painter, and oh my God, do I enter a sea? You just enter whatever you want. And I think it's important that you enter your best paintings, what you think is the best. Now, of course, a judge may think it's not your best, but it doesn't matter. It's a very personal thing, this painting, you know. And if you're happy with your painting, even if listen, I submitted what I thought 5 of my best paintings about a year ago to an exhibition. All 5 were rejected, and I thought, I can't believe that. But then, of course, you have to believe it, because the judge was looking at 1,000 other entries, and the technical ability may not appeal to them, that what I put in. So you never know what's going to happen. So it really is. I mean, it's bad enough trying to paint pictures, let alone trying to please a judge as well. So you've got to get the judges out of your head. You've really got to get them out of your head and just simply paint what you want to paint. That's all I can offer, actually, as a judge and as a painter. Paint for yourself. Enjoy your painting, and you know, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't get into a show. It's not. You've still got the painting. Somebody else may love it. You know, you might sell it to your next door neighbor or whoever. So. Everything's a learning curve. We shouldn't expect to be winners at everything. I've been painting for 50 plus years, and I'm still learning. So it doesn't offend me if I don't get my work accepted into a show. I don't, you know, it's not the end of my life. I don't tearing my hair out and running around and shouting at everybody. It's just a fact of life. Whether that is any useful information or not, but the most important thing is paint for yourself.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Lana. And you have a couple of opportunities actually to study with Tony online before he goes on his US tour. So April 9th, all-day workshop. And one of our members, I don't remember whom I owe credit for the naming it, but I owe somebody, I'm not sure whom. Mood and Atmosphere on Steroids. So that's the name of our April 9th workshop. All new reference photos, fantastic demos, plenty of feedback, still few spots available. Join now. And Catch to Frame, I think it's Barbara who requested it, and we always try to make our artists happy. So this workshop will focus on how to frame paintings, but also we'll have a couple of demos. And if you kind of starting out with pastels or want to take it to a new level and just get through the whole process from creating a sketch to preparing your painting for the gallery, framing, matting, whatever it needs, Tony is going to open up his secrets. So you still can do it your way, but you can know his secrets too.
Be there.
Beware, or try to get on a waiting list for one of his workshops stateside. So that's what's coming. Thank you, Tony, so much. Back to Lana, and Tony will be at IAPS.
Oh yeah, I'll be. Yeah. Oh yes, I'll be there. I'll be there with my Red Rocks badge on.
Yeah, we are working on those, and guys, there is a like voting thing in the bottom of the screen. I don't know how is it launching on your side, but you can let me know if you're going to IAPS, if you entered IAPS show, and are you a Red Rock member? I like how you're consistent with you. People who are answering, they all Red Rock members and all going to IAPS. So I think I'm gonna have a crew. You don't see a poll. I don't know where it is on your side. On my side, it's on the bottom of the screen. So maybe it appears when you just log in into meeting, and after that it disappears. But Lana, what stage of painting are you in right now?
Well, it's kind of trying now to get the values actually more correct at this point. Like, you know, I wait before I actually start adding these highlights, usually, so that I still can correct something a little bit. But it is, at some point, it's just important to really see what's going on, how dark my darker area is. And if I don't have that value, that lighter value that is the ultimate highlight, I'm not going to know that. So eventually I need to just be bold and add that. And this is actually quite advanced. I'm not going to work too much on the here in the background right now. It's just I would spend more time on it later. But here, like, just kind of getting the planes of the wave shaped with the light, kind of to show how the surface is turning towards the light, what's lighter, what's darker. That's what's going to create that effect. And here in the foam, for example, I need again to pick up some of these highlights at the top, maybe. And I kind of save this area for a little bit later to add the spray, but I can show you the spray just a little how I'm doing it. But overall, it's very close close enough to being done. And it's just making sure there's this bright light in the painting, and that's what this light foreground is bringing, and the accents, the light accents on the foam. And even though there's not enough of that yet, I'm kind of slowly moving in that direction and trying to break up that boring line again, because we lose it. We have the intention, then we may lose it, kind of get off track, but then we have to find it back. What I was saying in the beginning, I don't want it to be just like straight line. So if it starts looking that way, I have to kind bring a little bit more action with different curves. So I know you didn't really plan on staying here for too long. So I think I'm, far enough that it gives the idea of my process if you want to kind of finish at this point.
Well, I have something else to share. We have amazing surprise for our Red Rock members, courtesy of Lana. Very generous of you. And I will give you floor to you if you'll switch camera so we can see you talking. And I will share a screen also for a second, and I'm gonna put something in the chat. So there is a coupon code for Red Rock demo attendees, Red Rock Waves, and it's $90 off your courses. So can you tell about your course? And it's like very intense and very amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, I forgot to mention that while talking about all of this. I have a course, actually, self-study course, where I take people just with the videos through the different stages, how we do the waves. I think it's altogether, it's 6 modules, and we do the background, how to do that, how to do the foam, how to make a little bit more drama in a seascape. So that's what that is, and you can see it. Dasha will give that link. You can go and see exactly the information, what it is all about, and yeah, it's it had good reviews from my students. They're happy.
And, what is very important, you will get access to videos for like 2 full years.
This one for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, 2 full years. Code to get $90 off. I cannot calculate percents, but it's pretty good discount. So $90 off Red Rock Waves. This is your discount code, guys. So if you always wanted to learn how to paint waves, here's your chance. I'm putting it in the chat. We'll include it in email, so you will not lost it. Or if you lost it, direct message me or Lana. We will give it to you. So you'll just say you attended Red Rock meeting. And do you have a timeline for this coupon? When do we need to use it by?
Yeah, I think it's either April 7, the deadline to use it. Something like that.
Okay, so there is some time to decide, but this is beautiful. I have a lot of comments here.
Thank you.
And Sherry, Lana's course is wonderful, and you will learn a lot. It's well put together and worth your time. Thank you, Sherry, for your feedback. Adrian saying it's gorgeous, Lana, and it really came to life. Wow, this is splashing.
I just dropped poured alcohol over my pastels. That's okay though. It will dry. I want to show you how I do the spray. So it's I dipped the brush into the jar with alcohol, and then I just do this. And then once it picked up enough pigment, I will pull the bristles towards me. And if Dasha, if you could, I don't know if it's like everyone sees it. Actually, the area is covered by that pole right now. Or
Okay,
is it?
I'm gonna, is it, because I don't see Paul on my side, so I'm gonna end it. I hope you answered. So end it.
Okay, because it's exactly in the area where I'm going
Okay,
to do it.
it's a different interface. Thank you
Okay.
for pointing it out. So.
All right, so, well, right now it's like the spray would be somewhere here in this area over that darker color. So if I don't want it to fly all over, I can just cover the area a little bit and just do something like this in the direction. And I don't know if it's seen on Zoom or not, but it actually left some of this spray here. So usually you don't want to overdo it because these tiny droplets, they dry and they make, if there's a lot of them, they will make things look chalky because it's like that white stuff kind of dries over, and you just want a little bit usually. Or if it's if there's a lot of spray, then maybe like cover the areas and kind of focus it in a certain way. But experiment, if you do it, experiment, but know that you can kind of ruin it if it goes too far. Okay, so I think I will stop at this and then.
Would you photograph it and send us image of the ready wave too?
You mean when I work on it? Well, I can take a picture now later. I mean, when we're done, and yeah, I will. I don't know if I find time right away to finish it, but
no, whenever. So no rush, and
okay.
Everybody think it's beautiful. Cool tip. Thank you, Lana. It was wonderful demo from Adrian. Sherry saying, thank you, Lana. Beautiful as always. Sharon saying, such a beautiful painting. I live in the desert and wish to have a beach. Denise saying, thank you so much. Very helpful and beautiful. Thank you, Lana from Mary, Carol, beautiful. Thank you for letting me join. Lana is a master from Sunday painter Tonya Lane.
Thank you.
Well, usually Tuesdays like 2 to 5. Marketing quizzers 5 to 9. I shared business hours, so remember to send me like your volunteer requests.
Okay.
And I had more comments, like I'm trying to read everything. From Sasha, thank you for sharing your feeling smooth, but also the eternal love of man for the boundless water element. That's beautiful. I keep reading in the chat. Thank you so much, Carrie. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. What a blessing to watch a demo. Thank you guys for watching today. Thank you, Lana. It was fantastic. And I think your wave looks alive, like you brought a life to it, even through the screen, and with everybody having different colors, like everybody finding it amazing. So that's the true power of artistic excellence.
Thank you. Yeah, it you know, on screen it's usually the blues kind of jump out more than when you actually see the photo. So the photo will be a little bit better integrated, the color, but that's the Zoom. Well, thank you so much. It was my pleasure, and thank you, Darsha.
Thank you, Red Rock team, who is recording. If for some reason I forgot to press record, but I think I didn't, but we all hope I did not. Patty is saying, I've never seen the ocean and you brought it to me today. From landlocked New Englander, I can smell salty air today. Wendy is saying she can feel salty air. It's still recording. Thank you, Mary. You keeping me like on point with my technology things. And our poll Okay, share results I can do now. So 14 people are Red Rock members. Yay for Red Rock members. Now, yay for not Red Rock members too. 8 people going to Red Rock, to IEPS in June, and 12 not going, but there is still time to decide, I believe. And there is 1 person who already entered IEPS show, and 19 are to enter. So I hope you guys will be brave and enter this show, because it's in-person show and very great exposure. There is 2 Red Rock show to enter. I will keep reminding you, be clarified. Current deadline for entry of IEPS in person, not IEPS, oh my gosh, Red Rock live show is May 5th. So current May 5th for the Red show, and it's one what we thinking of a theme Red, and what Serge will be giving awards for. We're not gonna put him on the spot, what he's looking on the paper. Oh my, I cannot talk again, so my words limit for today is done. So I guess we'll, on that note, we're gonna stop it, and I'm gonna send you a recording. Keep entering on Show Submit, keep painting and sharing your stuff on all the social media. Thank you for joining. I will do one more video